For many of us, Breath of the Wild is a fun and adventurous Zelda game, and some even suggest it's the best Zelda game ever made. And although it's not my personal favourite, I do still enjoy Breath of the Wild so much that it is by far the Zelda game I've spent the most time playing. There is just endless amounts of fun packed into Breath of the Wild that it's difficult to get bored, quite honestly. But with so many hours piled into this excellent game, it was only a matter of time before the little things that never bothered me started to take its toll. And as I started to encounter these little things more and more, I begun to realise that some of these things are actually pretty infuriating. So I thought I would make a top 5 list of things that I hate about Breath of the Wild. Now, I have avoided the obvious ones, such as climbing in the rain or the blood moon, so I'm pretty sure there will be some things on this list that you probably have encountered before but haven't seen mentioned in a video, so stick around until the end. Now let us jump into the top 5 things we all hate about Breath of the Wild. So Hyrule is pretty big this time around, and with it being such a vast world, it's only logical that we would encounter some water from time to time. But in actual fact, we encounter water all of the time. I mean, I was shocked by how much water there is in Breath of the Wild. It's literally everywhere. I couldn't wait to dive off a nearby cliff and swim with the fish, only to find that a snail on land could move quicker than I could swim. So I climbed out and just stared at the water for a while, thinking my life was pretty much over. But then my brain started doing the unthinkable. It remembered that lovely blue tunic from Ocarina of Time. And I started realising that the world of Hyrule was massive, and that some place somewhere would hold my precious blue fast swimming tunic that would allow me to zoom in the waves and not drown. And I was right. Thanks to King Dorothan, I now had some Zora armor, and I couldn't wait to try it out. So I jumped back into the water, only to discover that I could swim up waterfalls. But not only that, it was also the quickest swimming I'd ever seen. I mean, look at this. Not only could I dart up mountains with waterfalls quickly, but it was the fastest swimming I'd ever seen in a Zelda game. But then it hit me. Casual swimming was still just too slow. I figured that I needed the other 2 pieces of the Zora set to unleash my true swimming power, so I did what needed to be done. I explored. I searched high and low, and even took a picture of a deadly Lionel. I also searched in the very depths of the seas to find my Zora gear, and after what seemed like years, I'd finally located all 3 pieces of gear. I quickly changed into my super aqua suit and I headed for the waves. I jumped towards the water, and as I hit the waves, I knew I would unleash hell on the ocean floor with my supersonic swimming speed. Get ready, Hyrule, cause here I go. God damn it, Nintendo. So swimming is incredibly slow, even with the Zora gear, and the Zora gear upgraded, sure it's faster, but not fast enough, and you still drown while wearing it. Nintendo clearly knew this, so they added a special ability called Cryonis. Cryonis is a pretty cool rune that adds some great ways to experience the world. It allows Link to solve puzzles, collect treasure, and can also be used to cross large pools of water. But I have one major issue with Cryonis. This issue never bothered me in the first couple of playthroughs. Sure, it was a little tedious, but not enough to really annoy me. But now I have come to realise that this one little thing is actually one of the most infuriating things I have ever experienced in Breath of the Wild. If you happen to be crossing some water using Cryonis and miss a jump from one Cryonis block to another and attempt to climb up the block you were originally aiming for, every so often you may find yourself just slipping underneath the block for a split second and the Cryonis block will shatter. I know it doesn't seem like a huge problem, but as you start to encounter this issue more and more, trust me, it will start to send you a little mad. I mean, this wouldn't even be an issue if I could use a Zora armor and swim super fast across the water, but oh well. Skyward Sword was hit with huge criticism due to the game using motion controls. So when we found out that Breath of the Wild would also use motion controls, everybody was a little bit confused. Now I personally don't mind motion controls as long as they don't impact the gameplay too much or they have an option to turn them off. But Breath of the Wild completely ignores this and forces the player to use motion controls in shrines. But not in a minor way either, oh no, in a full force kind of way. Like use your stupid Switch console to try and hit this golf ball with this huge golf club thing, and try to get the ball in the hole, and oh yeah, it's going to feel awful, like it's all inverted, and even when you think you have mastered it being inverted, it's going to feel backwards and upside down and just awful, and it's not fun. And yeah, good luck. Cheers, Nintendo. Like, honestly, this is not fun at all. I know people that still haven't beaten the motion control shrines because they physically can't. These are not fun, and it's safe to say we all pretty much hate them. I'd be shocked to see them return in Breath of the Wild 2, given how much stick they got. I mean, they are really that hated. Korok Forest. This is one of my absolute favourite locations in Breath of the Wild. It's just such a lovely, peaceful place to hang out. But I do have a slight personal feud against this calming forest, mainly due to this dude here. Hestu is a Korok seed trader, and assuming he is in fact a Korok like the other Koroks, he originated in this little forest. So you can kind of guess why I have a slight hatred for this peaceful wood. Hestu, in my opinion, is a little bit of a douchebag. He wants you to find 900 Korok seeds throughout Hyrule. Yes, you heard me right, 900. He will trade you stashes for your seeds, and granted he only requires 441 to max out your stashes, but he still expects a grand total of 900 to get the ultimate reward. Supposedly a gift of friendship that smells pretty bad. Basically, it's some kind of golden special Korok poop, which does really nothing at all. But anyway, collecting the 900 seeds isn't even my main problem. My main thing I hate about this side quest is actually to do with the tracking of the seeds themselves. With 900 seeds to collect, you would think the game would offer some easier way to track where you have gathered them. Now if you take a look at the map, you can zoom right in and see the seeds you have gathered. This, in my opinion, is a horrible way of tracking the seeds you have collected, and I'll tell you why. This map is huge, and even more huge when you have to zoom all the way into the map just to see where the collected seeds are. If you have collected 300 or more seeds, then you know exactly how tedious it can be to look online and find a Korok map and try to pair the map with the seeds you have already collected. Overall, I truly hate this side quest, and I hate the seed tracking even more. And lastly and finally, the number one thing we all hate about Breath of the Wild is that it's over. That's right everyone, with Breath of the Wild 2 coming very soon, it's pretty much over for the first Breath of the Wild. It's been an epic adventure with some crazy fun memories, but it is time to move on. I'm sure many of us will keep coming back to this stunning game from time to time, but realistically, with a hopefully bigger and better experience lined up for next year, there really won't be much reason to invest as much time into this game as we currently are. And while this is very sad, I think it's a perfect time to start thinking about the bigger, better experience we are likely to have in the upcoming sequel. But just remember, don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened. And there you have it everyone, 5 things we all hate about Breath of the Wild. Now there are many things I love about Breath of the Wild, but also a lot more that I hate. But I would love to know some of the things that you really hate about Breath of the Wild, so let me know in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching the video, and a special thanks to my YouTube members. You're one of the main reasons I still continue to make content, so thank you. And if any of you guys would like to support me for video shoutouts and exclusive awards, then check out my YouTube membership where you can join for as little as 99 pence per month. And once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.